discuss all of that with Mahantesh Sabarad as well as Mileen Vasudeo joining us on the show. Mileen, let me begin by asking you, this week was all about consolidation, very sideways move at the index level, stuck in a very narrow band. Is this likely to be the case in the coming truncated week as well?
Good afternoon. Last time I had told about Nifty that the prior resistance was at 19,300 to 19,500. We broke that on July 14 and we went up to 19,991. From there, we are seeing a correction. Now, again, we have come to that clear zone of 19,300 and 19,500 level. So, according to me, 19,300 remains a make or break level. If that level is being broken, then yes, you could see some more drift in the market, and you could head to test the 50-day moving average line, that is at 19,240 or 19,200. Similarly, with Bank Nifty, if you see, Bank Nifty is now showing sign of weakness. Now, this week, Bank Nifty has clearly closed below the 50-day SMA, which is a sign of weakness, and the 50-day SMA is at 44 and 44,821. Now, this week low is at 44,392. If this low is being broken, that is the weekly low is being broken, then you could slip down towards, say, 44,000 and even 43,980 levels in Bank Nifty. So at present, yes, we are on a weak ground and we are seeing a slight distribution at current level.
On the weak footing, but Mileen, before we go ahead, just wanted to touch upon how do you see the PSU banking space, because though we have seen Nifty Bank breaking its previous week low as well and now trading way below its 20-day moving average, but the PSU banking index was seen to be rebounding on Friday's session. So how do you see that going ahead? Do you believe that it will give some shorting opportunities, or one should just stay away and maybe focus on the private sector names?
No, going forward now, Nifty PSC, which is currently trading at 4,555 levels. Now, even in this week, it has given a good close and it is showing sign of resilience. At present, this index has got a resistance at 4621 level. Once that level is being crossed again, we could see some kind of a momentum going forward. But I would say that one should keep a stop loss of, say, somewhere around 4450 levels. If that level is being held in PSU banks, then yes, you could see the higher levels. But at present, there is no clear trend in this sector.
As far as this segment is concerned right now. Mahantesh, hi, thank you so much for making time and speaking with us. I wanted to begin by asking you a bit about the macros itself. We have seen a bit of a comeback in terms of inflation, whether it's tomatoes, wheat prices, rice prices, and of course sugar prices are also expected to inch higher. Does all of this put a bit of a question mark in terms of where inflation is headed, and do you think that's the nervousness that the market is dealing with right now?
I think probably you are right, but then more than that nervousness related to the inflation, we should be a little worried about where the monsoon is likely to end this season. Although we have had a very good July and the progress in August has been somewhat muted, not necessarily a dry August, but we are likely to see the El Nino effect actually coming into the play. If we're going to end the season, which is the by end September with some kind of deficient monsoons, will probably risk a higher chances of slowing economy. Inflation is a worry. You would have noticed that the RBI has also talked about a bit of a higher inflation in this monetary policy. And they've talked of actually for they give the quarterly forecast for inflations that they have talked of a much higher inflation now in the second quarter. of the fiscal year. So we have to see that off. So right now, while we are seeing the inflation trending up, the good news is it has come off a little low base. Remember, May was one of the lowest of this sort of 1 year in terms of 4.3% print. We are probably going to hit a 6.2% kind of print by the time the quarter two comes in. But that's not too much of a worry. We already have RBI taken cognizance of that. I'm a bit more worried about the monsoon forecast.
Okay, but Mahantesh, let's shift focus to the IPO space because a couple of IPOs that have done well from the names like Yatharth Hospital as well as NetWeb, which saw bumper listing. But going ahead in the upcoming week, we have two more IPOs. They're going to be listing on the bourses. Firstly is Concord as well as SBFC. Concord received a subscription of over 200 times, while SBFC, not much of a retail participation there, but it was a decent response that this particular IPO also got. So what are your expectations from the listing, and who all have already gotten their subscription in these IPOs? What any recommendation or any advice that what could be their course of action?
So I don't really track the IPOs one by one, but I can just tell you that some of these IPOs that are coming in at this juncture are coming in at a time where investors are sitting on decent set of profits, given the past year's bumper rise for the overall index levels. We were just a couple of weeks back, we were very close to hitting an all-time high on and crossing 20,000 on the Nifty. In that backdrop, there are a lot of investors who are actually seeing a huge amount of profit in their portfolio, and it's natural to expect a lot of them to participate in IPOs. Some of the IPOs are good. The hospital IPO, Yatharth, that you talked about, are ones which really bring in value to the table for many of the investors. Even SBFC is kind of a good IPO in a sector, more than the company itself. It's a sector which is taking prominence, particularly where we are coming out of a COVID situation where the credit growth is expanding by leaps and bounds. So to me, the IPO phenomenon will be a good phenomenon to watch out for going forward, and will add to the overall value that investors will be able to participate into.
Overall, value generation is going to be quite positive, at least from this wave of IPOs, broadly speaking. But on that note, slipping into a very short break, don't go anywhere.